From Del Rio, Texas, Rob Wade and Robert Garza. Two guys who dive. This episode of Two Guys Who Dive, recorded Saturday, 20 October 2012, episode 38. Welcome back. And here we are once again with another episode of Two Guys Who Dive, and I am your host, Rob Wade, and I'm here with
Robert Garza.
And welcome back.
Thank you.
We didn't know what was going on other than you were feeling ill, and I was like, okay, is this going to be serious? Is it going to turn out to be just something quick? Or so you're feeling better? What happened?
Actually, I'm feeling a little better. You can still hear the congestion in my nose. No, and I'm not changing my voice purposely to sound, all radio-like and all.
You got to put that affectation. You're going to sound like you're throwing up on the mic. Welcome to another episode of Two Guys Who Dive. And here's Robert Garza.
No, what happened is I started getting a cold, and I've suffered pneumonia before, so I have to be very careful. As soon as I get a cold, it can, it normally doesn't do it, but every now and then I'll get lazy and not take care of myself, and there you go.
Which is strange because you've been doing all this bike riding. I've been seeing you post regularly on your exploits on the bicycle.
Yeah, and it just, it'll get the best of me. So sure enough, it came down into my chest, and I got a chest infection. So was out, didn't go out all day Saturday, and of course I didn't make it to the show, so I apologize for everybody.
It's okay.
And then,
Troy did a good job. He stepped in.
Thank you, Troy, for filling in. And also on Sunday is when I started feeling real bad.
Yikes.
So I missed Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from work.
Sunday, Monday, happy days.
So that wasn't very, very pleasant. And then,
Not
of course,
so happy days.
I went back to work on Thursday, and was dragging. And then, of course, Friday, yesterday was, I'm still... I would say I'm at about maybe 75%. Yeah, I'm still feeling very.
You're ambulatory. That's important.
Yeah, no.
How about the rest of the family?
No, they're great. They're great. I think it's just me. And today when we were all sitting outside, I had some friends come over to watch the parade, or should I say the soccer show, the soccer and volleyball show.
What?
Yeah, I'm not knocking it, but they're just. I couldn't believe every other float that I saw was either a volleyball team or a soccer team.
Yeah.
That's taken off, obviously. But nonetheless, when I was sitting there, I got up and I got actually, disoriented. I got lightheaded.
Ooh, vertigo.
Yeah. So we went to go grab a bite to eat and came back home, and I was actually having a hard time breathing.
Yikes.
Somewhat like near asthmatic. So I kind of just hung around and drank a lot of water, and it actually went away. Yeah. So hydrate yourself whenever you're feeling sick.
No kidding. Yeah, speaking of that, of course, we got Amistad, Fiesta de Amistad going on this month, and it's kind of culminating with the parade today. And then we got the craft fair that's been going on today and tomorrow. My wife is involved in that. She's got a couple of friends that they've been doing a lot of like the scrapbooking type stuff, and fancy frames and pins and things like that. So there was a pretty standard amount of vendors, if you will, or craftspersons. I'm not sure what's the PC term.
You know what astonished? I know Tara's really into the scrapbooking, and she does extremely well. If you guys haven't seen her work, you guys definitely have to swing by wherever she's selling, because she does extraordinary work. But a lot of these people just come out only during this time. I don't see them selling or doing anything except during just this time. And it's
I can't really speak for them. I can only tell you my observations as a scrapbooker's husband, it takes Tara a lot of time to put together, because she doesn't just do scrapbooking. She does all these different things that the scrapbooking genre brings to how you can present pictures. She's got these word books that that have like spelled out like mom or happy or marriage or something like that. Yeah. And as you open each, and they're like a chipboard or cardboard, so they're kind of heavy duty. And you open up like the first letter if it's mom, and you can have pictures attached to it. And then longer is the next page for O, because it's got to be longer too, so you can read mom across. And so you have bigger pictures you can put in there. By the time you get the last letter, there's all these pictures, and it's got fancy designs and bling that she puts on it. So it's
the bling.
The bling. Got to put the bling on there. So, and she does all these different ones, and then she's got these little blocks that are fancy, have beautiful designs on them and everything. They have little pins on top that you can slide a picture on, so it's easy to change it out with something. And she's got these buttons and pins that she makes out of, it's really kind of ingenious, out of soda cans.
Oh, wow.
She's got some devices that let you cut metal out, and it cuts it in the shape of different size flowers. So they'll be, like smaller and smaller and smaller, and cuts it out of different kinds of soda cans, so it gets all that color in there. Oh, okay. And then layers it with like this foam rubber kind of thin, so it creates more petals and puts bling in it. And so she can make buttons or hairpins, and those actually sold really well.
Cool.
And she's even got them where she's got them attached to little flip-flops. So they're right on the top of the flip-flop. So, very multiple uses for these things. But it takes a lot of time, not just thinking about how you're going to put this stuff together. Well, what colors go together? You get a Mountain Dew can, which would give you different color combinations than, say, an Arizona tea can or something like that. So she's been spending almost a year working on all of these different things. And, of course, this is her first time really going out here and selling this stuff. Mm-hmm. So for all the work that she's done, the biggest thing, although she did pretty well today, the biggest thing that she is going to get out of this, I think, is to see what sells well, what people are buying. Mm-hmm. So that's what she'll probably focus on over the next year. She may add other things, other ideas, but if certain ideas, crafts that she's got don't seem to sell as well, then she'll just roll those in probably into next year, or find other opportunities to sell. But Del Rio, for all its different events, there's not a lot of these type craft fairs.
There isn't. It's only during this time is when I've seen them. Well,
and I think there is one other one that they do, but I'm trying to remember. Tara would probably be able to tell us, but my fine producer. But the other thing too to remember is there's a point beyond which it's considered a business, and you have to do the whole tax thing. Yeah. And, my personal opinion is this just ain't the economy right now that makes it conducive to opening a business. I'm like, there's so many things that I think people have great ideas to open up a business, and there's so many talented people. Just looking at the craft fair, there's so many talented people out there coming up with things and some of them do it as a business, and you can tell, because if you go to the craft fair, you see all these you see trailers with the name of whoever's selling it, and so they roll it in. They've got a very professional rig going. I don't probably see Tara getting to that point unless she retires and can throw herself really into that. In which case, we'll probably have to get a second trailer, one for me and the scuba diving stuff, and then one for her for her craft stuff.
Yeah.
But it just gets to a point where if you're gonna do anything other than the periodic craft show, you have to really start thinking about, I've got to make it a formal business rather than just something I kind of put together and sell once or twice a year.
I know I know that a lot of people make a lot of money doing the garage sale thing, and I was actually making a reference to one of my friends.
Right.
On Friday, well, yesterday, I tend to forget what day it is.
What day is it?
I was making an actual reference to one of my coworkers yesterday. It was like, hey, that lady is always selling stuff, because we drove by this residence, and she must have like tons and tons of clothes, and because she has something for sale every day, so I guess that's her business.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, how much, if anything, if that person reports any of this income. I probably not, but
well, it's probably a fairly good bet. I would hope it's a good bet that she's at least paying
for a permit to
the
have,
permit to
right.
do that. Now, see, and I understand that part of the reason that they did that was because there's so many people that just they do make it a regular weekly or monthly thing. But I had a problem, and I still do have a problem with having to have a permit if you have the once a year or once a season garage sale, because we all go through those times where, like last weekend I took my birthday off, and instead of relaxing, what I ended up pulling half the stuff out of our shed and finding things that I needed to throw away, and still have a pile of stuff I need to throw away. But I could have just easily said, you know what, let me do a garage sale or a yard giveaway or whatever. And if I didn't get a permit to do something like that, which I didn't actually say anything, I just threw it all away. But if I decided, you know what, I want to just go ahead and throw this out on the lawn and sell it, I would have, and I didn't get a permit, I could have got busted on that.
Yeah, you would have definitely gotten a fine.
I'm like, seriously? I'm like, okay, I totally get it. If people are trying to circumvent our rules and laws that govern, or that basically paying your share to run a business, come on, let's not go hard over on this and make it ridiculous for those who do the once in a while thing, because they're just trying to clear out their house, rather than throw it in the landfill. We're just trying to what we call in the Air Force, recapitalize. In other words, we've already bought or built or paid for something, rather than throw it away where it just becomes part of the landfill. See if somebody else can use it.
It's like the saying goes: one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Exactly.
What I know I've done this before. I've gone to the of course the city dump to go take trash and stuff.
Yeah, I did that 2 weeks ago.
And there's just people there waiting for you to just offload this stuff, because they're throwing stuff like, I had a chair and the chair was in bad shape.
But somebody wanted it.
Somebody took it. Somebody took it, because I'm sure they could fix it. I just didn't have, or should I more like say, I just didn't have the will to just fix it or take it to somebody to get. But they can.
Absolutely.
They have the. I'm sure they have the people that can do it. Appliances, those things.
Oh,
my God! You throw some away. I remember when we were there, I saw somebody throwing an iron away. I literally saw it. Just the guy chucked the iron, and he looked at it. He looked at the iron, and I heard him say it. He said it in Spanish. He just goes, all it needs is just the cord. I can fix that, and he just put it in a pile of stuff that he had stashed. These guys are like amazing.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. It's hard to know what somebody's going to find worthwhile enough to take. Because sometimes I can put stuff in the alleyway, and you have people that cruise the alleyways looking for what people have thrown away, and I'll see it disappear the next day. And then other things I thought, oh, this will disappear quick, and it sits there for weeks until I end up having to load it up and take it to the dumpster.
Yeah,
or to the landfill.
But it's crazy, crazy.
So, and then Friday we had the Abrazo.
That's right.
The big
I saw
hug.
The picture. I saw the picture of that.
I haven't seen the picture yet. I need to check it out. Somebody had posted on Facebook about it, and I responded, but I didn't actually get to see the picture because I was in a hurry. I just wanted to respond to the posting. But I get to do that every year. It's always an honor. I get usually called by Dora Alcala, good friend, former mayor, former Air Force civilian, did wonderful things in the Air Force. And she normally calls me and asks me if I would be willing to participate, and I just think it's an awesome thing. I wish it was better attended. The attendance seems to be going down every year, and yeah, there's some aspects of it that have been kind of what's the word I'm looking
Excuse
for?
me.
That's okay. There have been some aspects of it that are.
Come on, I
don't want to say cheesy, but not.
Oh, you already said it, so
well, but not fully thought out. It just seems like, wow, this part could have been a lot better organized. And I know that's part of the challenge of when you're working with literally two countries, trying to work this, because there are parts to play that both United States and Mexico have in the Abrazo ceremony. And it's all well and good, and it keeps fostering the amicable feelings, the Amistad, friendship between the two countries. But for something that is unique like this, it would be nice to see a little bit more attention to detail, I guess, so that it runs smoothly. It's everything's top notch, and so maybe it would draw more people. And, because the sad fact is, you and I both know, with all the violence that's going on over in Mexico, up and down the border, it's not as bad in Acuna, right across our sister city, but it is getting there.
Right. Actually, talking to some of the local law enforcement people, they've actually told me that it's kind of dying down a little bit here.
Yeah.
But you go 56 miles, south, and it's an entirely different issue over there. It's
when you have a bunch of escape felons.
That doesn't help.
Yeah.
When you got a drug problem, plus you also got 200 something, convicts running loose.
Yeah.
It doesn't help the cause none.
Now, what was interesting was the Mexican military was a definite presence for this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm standing there. By the pedestal that has the two eagles representing the two countries, and I'm looking behind it, and I can see one of their military members, full automatic weapon, standing there in uniform and everything, and then I didn't even realize until somebody else pointed out to me at the end there was a whole military vehicle full of them.
Yeah.
I'm like, yikes.
There are certain parts of here Acuna that you can't actually go there during the day. It's not bad. They try to tell you don't go there after dawn or after dusk or whatever, 6 or something like that, unless you actually got business to go to.
Right.
Try not to go too into the interior.
Yeah.
But during the day it's all right. They're not too bad, but you look around and after certain hours the military just kind of takes over the whole town.
Wow.
Yeah, and I would not want to be caught with these guys because I've seen them. No. They're young and they got assault rifles and they don't look pleasant.
They may not be having a good day.
They might not be having a good day. And guess what? You're in another country, guys. You go there. We had the biggest problem. Well, I was in Mexico. There's nothing we can do. Well, what do you mean? It happened in another country. They don't
realize that is not the United States.
It's not the United States. People tend to forget that. I was assaulted in Mexico.
Matter of fact, some of them think that this is not the United States.
Exactly.
You got a whole culture, a whole movement that's very prevalent actually in California, Southern California, of trying to repatriate or reacquire parts of the United States back to Mexico. I'm like, that ain't gonna happen, but
no.
But there is that attitude there.
No, but yeah, the military is very present.
Yeah. So, but even with the lower attendance and little missteps here and there, still a nice ceremony. It was good to see, us keeping this going in spite of the stuff that's going on. But I tell you, standing up there on the International Dam, that's where it's held. For those who have never heard of this event, it's held on the International Dam. Looking out over the lake, oh my gosh, it was just. And I've got some pictures of one of the other areas.
Tears.
I was like, it's going away. I was talking to somebody about how we were looking over on the downstream side of the dam. Somebody was talking about how they found some monster catfish down there, and how there was one of the Park Service divers years ago who was on the upstream side, the lake side of the dam. Back before they have the current team of divers for the Park Service, he said he went down. They had to go down there looking for something. I forget what he said it was. But this diver, it was his first dive in the lake. He, was certified elsewhere and had done dives, but it's his first dive in this lake. He said this guy came up after this dive white as a sheet, which is something for a Hispanic guy.
Yeah. Yes.
He said, I'm never going back in this lake again. I guess he saw a catfish that was bigger than him.
Wow.
I'm like, really? Of course, we know, anybody who's a certified diver knows that water magnifies something, 33%. And you're like, okay, so if you're close enough, then that's not, that can be less of a distortion. But still, I'm thinking, we've seen some large cats.
We have.
But
very
one that's as large as
big.
That's big. I've seen some where their heads are big enough to grab, their mouth can grab your mask.
Yeah.
And I know that for a fact because one actually bumped right into Mark Bemistar for his mask when we were diving. But it wasn't very long. It was just very wide.
Yeah.
But to see a catfish that's that large,
the size of a body, a man's body.
Now Jeff Larson, who's a Park Service diver, he was talking about how, I guess, a couple of weeks ago they caught the lake record for a alligator gar.
Oh, wow!
Almost 7 feet.
7 feet, guys.
That's a long fish.
7 feet. They're, and
I've seen some almost as big as me, but I'm only 5'7", so that's and they're at that point they're kind of skinny.
It's 5'7" with a 6-inch heel.
Yeah, exactly. I'm wearing my Prince, or the man formerly known as.
We, is for many years that we've been diving, I've never seen an alligator gar, and we get asked, "Well, do you guys see alligator?" I've never seen one in open water. I used to see them all the time when I used to do bow fishing.
Yeah.
Usually,
this was evidently a bow fishing event or something.
Yeah, because they're usually in shallow, murky, brushy areas. The time when you find those, and if you're gonna be fishing, you'll normally.
I thought I was going to see one of those today because I went out and I was like, oh.
You'll find carp and stuff like that, but
some of those carp get pretty good size too.
Yeah, but I've never seen one in open water. Wow, well that's pretty cool.
Nope.
7 feet.
Yeah.
Good gosh.
Yeah. One of these days we'll have to, because a lot of people, I've heard people when I'm at like the coffee shop there on base, when I talk about diving out here, don't they have alligators out there? I'm like, no, alligator gar. They're like a big carp with attitude and teeth.
Yeah, they can get pretty vicious when they're in that corner.
I think next week maybe I'll grab a YouTube video of one of those ones and bring it up because those can be good size, so people know what they're looking at, what we're talking about. So, little bit of tech news this week. We got a lot of stuff going on. I mean, it's just been kind of that time of the year. A lot of stuff going on, and we've got...
Let's get into it.
We got Windows 8 coming out on the 26th. I tell you, well, actually, midnight of the 25th. All the little pop-up stores are going to... Pop-up Microsoft stores and in malls and stuff are going to be active on midnight, and the actual the brick-and-mortar Microsoft stores are going to be open. And you're going to be able to download the RTM version of Windows 8. Now I will be ready to download because I got 2 machines that have been running release preview, and I got this machine that I'm going to be updating. I may wait just a little bit for updating Tara's notebook to that. I want to make sure she's done with this. All she needs to do for the craft fair stuff. So, because you never want to do, as you know, you never want to do anything that's a major change to your operating system without backing stuff up that's important to you.
Very important, very important. If you're not tech savvy or you're planning on doing something, please make sure you back up all of your information.
Now, how does iOS handle that? Or OS 10 handle that? Does it do its own, like, kind of like one of the options with the Windows updates has always been an in-place upgrade, where it backs up your files and stuff to folders, and then it writes the new OS.
You know, I've never seen an actual install.
Oh, really?
No, I would assume that it does. I'm kind of like you. I tend to just do clean installs myself.
Yeah.
I don't like doing all of that.
I don't like the dirt that's left behind.
I
usually.
don't like upgrading folders and files and all these other things. For me, Robert said it one time. It's best to just always start from the scratch, and it's just a tech thing.
Yeah.
Upgrades are never. Well, let me rephrase it. I don't want to say they're never good, but most technicians will not do that.
Yeah.
So I'll back up all of my stuff to either an external drive or things like that, and then I'll wipe the machine and do a fresh install because it just works better.
So so midnight on the 25th, you know what I will be doing. I'll be eating up all my bandwidth to download. Now, fortunately, for Windows 8, it'll come as a you go through the Windows upgrade web page, and you can download the actual ISO to build. Either throw it on a USB because you can actually do the install from USB, which is great.
Yeah,
which is great. To save you burning onto a CD, or you can actually burn the CD with it, which is fine. So I'll do that and probably do USB, and because I think all my devices are modern enough that I can actually boot off of that and start installing. Everything. Yeah, I'm excited. All the stuff that I've been saying, the people that were part of the Microsoft Developer Network or have TechNet subscriptions got it early.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've been talking about, well, you can get this in the Windows Store, and this has been added, and this is. I'm like, because the release preview, once they released the RTM or once they, went gold with the RTM version, which is released to manufacturing for those don't know. They pretty much, other than security patches and other things like that, they didn't really do any more updating to the store that you have access to, or the operating system itself. You didn't get any enhancements. You just got, security patches, that kind of stuff, which were all seamless and behind the scenes. That was kind of neat, not having to reboot my machine all the time. So I'll be anxious for that. And, of course, right on the heels of that, you have the Microsoft Surface, but the RT version.
Right.
And then a number of the tablets are starting to come out. Interestingly, the Pro version of the Surface, which is the one I'm holding out for, won't be available until January, I think.
December or something like that. Yeah.
Well, they were saying January at this point, but a bunch of the other OEMs are coming out with their RT and Pro versions. So I've been kind of watching those, and we're going to bring up a couple of web pages showing what they've got to offer, but not to be overshadowed. Apple decided we're going to head you all off at the pass, and so on the 23rd, it's rumored that they're going to have an event that's releasing the iPad Mini,
which is actually getting a lot of. I saw some news footage where people are actually they're asking them, well, how would you feel about a Mini? Because that's the rumor.
Right.
The an iPad Mini, and they're like, well, why make it smaller than what it already is? That's what I have my phone for. So I don't think it's gonna be a very good, unless they do something drastic to it. I don't know, maybe that it can blend up some coffee or something. I don't see the purpose of making a smaller device.
Well, but Apple really felt the pressure to come up with something like this because. And I talked about this with Troy last week. The Kindle Fire series, they had their initial ones last year, and then they've kind of stepped it up this year with newer versions. And I think Apple feels that there is a sweet spot there that Amazon has kind of been chipping away at a part of the market that they wanted. They probably initially thought, well, 10 is just right. And I agree, for a tablet, that's pretty much the right size.
Right.
It's not too big to be bulky and carry around, not like a laptop, but not so small that you're like a phone where you're squinting. Even with the 5-inch screens, those can be kind of tiny. But for certain things, so I think the Kindle series, especially the Fire, really hit a niche that Apple said maybe we're missing it here. So they started getting pressure from enthusiasts to do something to answer that. And so, it's been kind of one of those long rumored, and then denied, and then rumored and then denied about having a 7-ish inch one. So one of the sites that I like to check out a lot is CNET. And so let me bring this up. Here we go. So I thought it was kind of neat. They did a kind of a rumor roundup.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool. So here we see a little picture of, and I don't know if this is a render or if this was snuck by people because,
they tend to
that's amazing. Things. People take a quick shot and they have a file and then they mysteriously it makes it in the hands of tech bloggers. And,
it ends up on YouTube or something.
Yeah, exactly. So you're like, okay, is this real or is this somebody who really got some inside scoop?
I would venture to say that's real.
I would too. It's kind of like for a lot of the Windows and Windows Phone stuff, there's this place in Russia that's, I don't know why they're still like a partner for Microsoft because it seems like there's a lot of stuff that comes out of Russia.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
And they
radiation.
Well, we'll take care of you. We'll go this. You only suvusici, no vote. We can. Yes. So.
Make me laugh, Robert, and I'll start coughing.
That's right. Admiral, there'll be whales here. I have found the Enterprise. All right, nuclear vessels. So here's some of the rumors that they pulled together, and I thought some of these are kind of interesting as they go. Let's go backwards in time. Let's start at the beginning of October. So the invites started going out for the big event.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent, let's see, I guess that was October 10th. News event on October 10th. I guess they thought there were going to be something actually released then. Then on the 2nd, here again, Ukrainian iPhone. Those Russians.
Those Russians.
Those Russians. Post photos of the rear iPad mini casing, screens, and a front. So here was a snapshot. So yeah, it does pretty much look like what people were thinking. October 3rd, they actually start production. According to the Wall Street Journal. So there's the rumors went to, okay, there's actually something being worked on.
Back during the Cold War, how we were spying on each other, for military
created things. Misinformation.
Yeah, now it seems like
it's all tech stuff.
It's all tech stuff. Oh, did you get a picture of that phone? How much? Oh, they're trying to, do all that stuff.
We got Mata Hari out there now. Let's see. Then there were rumors about having production woes. That there was basically running into issues trying to make the iPad smaller. So there were evidently there were challenges to actually get the production where they want to. And I think as they started hearing, with the issues with the quality control for the iPhone.
Yes.
I think probably they were a little bit scared that we're going to have issues. Quality control 2.0, with the iPad mini, which you don't want. You don't want to hit that problem with two devices in a row. You really don't. So if that was true, then they definitely were trying to, all right, let's get to the bottom of this right now. By the 7th, reportedly they ordered 10 million of the iPads for the fourth quarter. So you knew they were trying to get stuff out in time for the final quarter of the year. Then the rumors on the 9th were they started seeing pictures leaked via Twitter, and the rumor that it was going to be would only be a Wi-Fi version. Mm-hmm. So then on the 12th. Apple was expected to announce that they were going to show off the iPad mini on October 23rd. So this is where we started seeing they're trying to head off the Windows 8, especially all the tablets that are going to come out on the 26th. Then on the 14th, the iPad mini configurations and prices start to be revealed. And it always seems like, and I saw this with Windows Phone and Windows tablets, seems like the prices in euros and other foreign currency seem to be revealed sooner. And I've learned already that you cannot trust you can't do a straight conversion.
No, because it's different.
Even though, if you were doing an exchange rate of the dollars for euros or whatever, you can't use that as your mechanism to guesstimate what the equivalent price in U.S. dollars would be, because the way they tax, etc., because they have, over in Europe, they have sales tax and they also have the value-added tax, which is killer. If we ever get that here, we might as well pack up, because there'd be no saving this country if we get a value-added tax. That basically, value-added taxes, they tax you at every step. Anytime you do something that changes the value of the product, it gets taxed.
So it increases the price on
big time. So we start seeing the prices showing up, and they were trying to do direct equivalence, which is a bad idea anyway, saying that we'd run anywhere from $325 for the 8 gigabyte Wi-Fi only to $847 for the top of the line. I'm like, for a 7-inch, that'll never fly in the United States.
That's not correct.
Yeah, I'm like, that's got to be high. So then on the 16th, we start hearing rumors that it would come in 24 flavors and 2 colors.
I actually see that happening. I see that happening like the new iPod.
Yeah.
I see that happening. Maybe they're going to change up the colors on
well, but see, that's the thing. It's only 2 colors, so I'm guessing black and white. Yep. But 24 flavors, meaning you would have various combinations of memory storage, Wi-Fi versus 3G, 4G, LTE.
Oh, okay. There you go.
But I find that really difficult to believe from a production standpoint, that they'd be able to produce
24 flavors and 2 colors.
That's a lot of variation. Now, what I'd be more likely to believe that that might be partially true only from the aspect of what they might have to make for other countries. I don't know what the limitations are across the borders, but there may be different versions that have to go across the different carriers in different countries. Now, different countries, some countries have more carriers than we do, and then some only have one.
Well, maybe it's going to be a palm reader. Maybe it's going to be a scanner. Maybe it will make actually
palm
coffee.
Reader. Nice.
Maybe it will make coffee.
I will tell your future for you.
Yeah, you're gonna
look into my iPad.
Here's what it's gonna do, guys. I already know since I'm in the Apple Guru blog. You're gonna be able to set that thing down and put a microwavable popcorn bag on there and hit the button, and that thing it's just gonna it's gonna produce popcorn.
So if you thought that cell phones could give you cancer before. You for sure. We will have the zombie apocalypse before it's all over.
And I had a friend call me and say, "Hey, can you acquire an AR-15 for me?" I said, "For what?" He goes, "Cause the apocalypse is coming." I'm like, "Oh, the zombies? Yeah, I get you." Hey,
for those who are interested, and I've not actually bought anything from this place, but now that we get Blaze TV on Dish TV on our Dish network, and a friend of mine at work, one of my coworkers actually does buy things from there. Cheaperthandirt.com.
Yes.
Good place, evidently, to get. Because I said, okay, I've seen commercials for this for the first time in my life. Is it really good place? And he said, absolutely. He said, you can get good.
I've been getting the magazines for years. It's a big law enforcement place to go. I mean, you can buy ammunition in bulk. Actually, they bring it. They actually sell it to you in bulk in those military cans.
Don't tell the DEA.
Well, it's on the up and up. You pay the tax.
I know. I'm just being facetious, because anytime you go from I've bought no weapons or ammunition my entire life, and suddenly I'm stockpiling, that will raise a little bit of attention.
You're going to get a knock on the door with a couple of federal agents. Ask the Branch Davidians. Oh, I'm sorry. But that's what happened. They were stockpiling ammunition and caught the the attention of the
ATF.
The ATF. So they went to investigate, and that's the actual what happened there. But no, the.
But they do. They advertise all sorts of great stuff, you know, and they talk about in the commercials. You know, they talk about if you just want personal protection, or if you are looking for your showcase type setup, or if you're doing competition. You know, I mean, they sell for the whole across the whole gamut.
Yeah, they will send you a free magazine. So if you go to their website, cheaperthandirt.com, and just click on there, they'll send you a free magazine. And
you know, I never understood the sense of magazines when half the time, if they show you prices,
they're different.
They're different, and they're never current because it takes so much time. There's lead time before they can produce those, print them out, send them out to you. And they only do those once a month or something like that.
I think these are every quarter, every 3 months.
Okay, so you can go to the website and get much more current. So I guess unless you want bathroom material,
yeah, you know.
Which I just bring my phone with me.
Just bring it.
And hopefully soon to be my Surface.
Yeah, you know, that's the only thing I can tell you about the iPad. It's revolutionized the way people go to the bathroom. And that's exactly what it is. I mean, let's face it, guys. I know you in Cyber World who are listening and watching right now.
You're on the toilet.
I know what you're doing. You're watching us while you're on the toilet. Let's face it, okay?
Just don't turn your microphones on. Also, otherwise we'll just hear.
Let me tell you, I might have been sick last week, but I was watching the show, and exactly, you know where I was watching it. And, I was going to send some, but I didn't.
Yeah, I'll send an audio clip. I'll Skype in from the bathroom.
Yeah.
Bad. Okay, so back to the show. Okay, so now the marketing starts. On October 16th, Apple sends out their official invitations for a special event. And now an extra special Blossom. Special event to be held Tuesday, October 23rd, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time. The tagline, "We've got a little more to show you." And of course it's cute. It's a little more.
A little more, yeah.
It's not a full more, it's a little more.
A little more.
So... on the 17th, the alleged iPad mini screen battery leaked in photos. So a parts reseller that evidently accurately posted photos and videos of the iPhone 5 case 3 months before the debut. Posted images of what it says is the 8-inch LCD screen for Apple's smaller iPad, as well as its battery. Photos suggest Apple will stick with the 4:3 screen ratio. That's kind of a shame because if memory serves, the Kindle series is actually closer to your widescreen. So when you go landscape, and I know the Surface fits to that cinematic format, and I think. So at least some of the other tablets that are coming out from some of the Windows 8 OEMs are going to be that way. Not all of them, I don't think. I think that might have been. I'm sure there were manufacturing and design reasons why they decided to do that, but I think they could have made it a little bit more attractive by going more the more was it what's the 9 by whatever. Whatever the cinematic ratio is. So, but that's interesting that it looks like there will be multiple, at least the rumors are there are going to be multiple versions of this thing with your different Wi-Fi or 3G, 4G, LTE. We'll see how much that turns out to be true. But we'll know October 23rd before we know. That's only 3 days away.
Yeah. And also basing on one of the questions that you asked on Facebook, would you going to a tablet device?
Yeah.
And I know what you're doing. You're trying to gauge whether or not, should I go, 4G, 3G, or,
Well, that's not where I was going. I'd seen a report. Matter of fact, it backed up what Microsoft said when people said, "Why are you not producing one that has built-in 3G or LTE?"
Yeah, LTE service. So
they cited this report, and I was like, really?
You know, for me, I'm kind of like you. I'll use my device for whatever I really need it to do with it. Most people just use it like an e-reader type thing, and you know, surfing and just sending you know, emails and stuff like that. For me personally, that I do move around and stuff, and I saw the post.
You move? You're ambulatory?
Yeah, that one of your friends posted that, you know, when they're traveling on the road, that they love the 3G service and all that. Yeah. And I agree to that. I have a small Galaxy tab that I used to have a long time ago, and used that once before, like way back, and it actually had the
built-in.
Yeah, the built-in.
Yeah. And
would travel to San Antonio or anything like that. I never really used
it online.
Yeah, I never really used it for anything. I mean, I had my phone, and now that I have my iPad, I actually use the tethering on my phone, and it works great. I mean, it works just as fast. I mean, of course, seeing it bigger on a 10-inch screen, does help sometimes because, like you said, you're squinting. But
well, and that's kind of where, and it seemed like that's at least, of course, not that our size of survey was anything close to scientific, but it was interesting to see that most fall into that category that seemed to be, I can tether if I need to. I use the Wi-Fi most of all, and my laptop does not have built-in cell service, and so I tether it to my phone all the time, and it works fine. So I'm thinking, okay, if you're going to try to reduce variation in your production line so you can make it most efficient and produce the most as far as numbers, and keep the cost down, I guess that makes sense. If the data shows that most people do not use their tablet, their iPad, which is the most popular one, or even any of the Android tablets, if most of them are not using the cell capability, if it has it, and they tether if they need to, or typically use it Wi-Fi, then, I'm okay with that. I guess that was a smart choice by Microsoft.
It goes back to what you said. Why make the investment in another $40 for another line or whatever that whatever they charge or whatever it is, and if you're really not going to use it a lot.
Right.
Now, if you're in insurance or some kind of salesman to where you're on the road,
you don't want to have to be connecting your phone to
Yes.
that,
I mean, I can see that. I guess it's based on your desired need and what it's going to do for you. I can see that being very useful if you're constantly on the road, you traveling a lot, which is probably why they design you make these things.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't see why you would need it.
So we'll have to see then what happens. What if they actually, it'd be interesting to see if they have the iPad Mini with the wireless capability,
LTE.
or if they stick with just the Wi-Fi option. Now, I of course am anxious to see the Surface. Now, I've made it very clear that the RT version, which is what's coming out on the 26th, is not the version that I want. I have said, as I said before, I want to replace my laptop. I love my laptop. It truly does enable me to step away and have almost all the capability. And it's old. It's 2 years old. That's interesting. It's old, 2 years old.
6 months is old.
Yeah, I know anymore
in tech world.
But I love it, and it uses it. It does a lot of the music studio type stuff that I need to do, especially with my keyboards when I need to do updates or reconfigurations or whatever on my my keyboard rack at church or on the road. I bring my laptop, so I don't have to bring all that rig here to the studio to do updates. I can do it from here. So a big thing for me is I want the ability and the function, the feature set that I have here, but I like the convenience, the potential convenience of a tablet. The RT version it more closely matches the feature set that the iPad
exactly
draws.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
So I think that's why they were wanting to get that out there first, and which is why I think Apple said, oh no you didn't, and then that's why they're putting the mini out there. So but I am anxious to see the Pro. But it was interesting, you know, they're gearing up, and I was reading that Microsoft is going to be spending some serious cash to start promoting the Windows 8 and the Surface. And they've already started putting out some of their promotional videos. And I think, you know, they put out one I just saw on the TV
I've
the
only
other day.
seen the one where they're dancing around with it.
Yeah, which I think is cool, but people are getting tired of that dubstep music. You know, it was well done, and it was kind of. I thought the little bit with the guy standing there, and they were using the
the little
that
robot.
was kind of cool.
That was pretty cool. You know, Troy tweeted something today, and I actually retweeted back. You know that he tweeted something from, it was on the Surface, about the commercial, that it's the best commercial out there, or something like that, or and I was like, best commercial. All they're doing is dancing. They're not even using the thing.
Yeah,
and I actually saw that. Where somebody made a comment was like, well, the commercial is great. I mean, it's cool. It shows the colors and stuff, but it doesn't show anybody using it. So I did a little bit more research on that and found that Microsoft did not allow anybody to have the tablet. Like, you know how they'll give you one and they'll say, okay, well, we're going to give it to these people and they can test it out and see what they like.
Yeah.
Nobody has it.
No, they're trying to keep
that thing
really
locked
close
down,
to the vest before the big reveal. And the speculation is, I don't know how much truth there is because I don't give Microsoft that good a credit for their marketing ability. They've been pretty dismal as a track record. There's speculation that there is at least one or two really wow features that they didn't share when they did the big show and tell a couple months ago. And then similarly with the Windows Phone 8, they only let certain people have the SDK, the software development kit, for it, because if you have this SDK, which lets you it actually has an emulator, that it would reveal some things. So anybody who did get it, they had to sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. Right. So they weren't letting, even when they were showing, oh, here it is, they kept control of it. They wouldn't let people do anything with it. So they think that there's some feature or features that they've been holding off because they didn't want to tip their hand. I don't know that I buy that, but
well, and some of the videos that I've seen where some of the Microsoft, I guess, associates are holding the Surface, and the media is trying to get like pictures of it and stuff, like on the video that's up there with the one above that. That one. They're showing it to the guy, and he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, it snaps like this," and the guy like barely gonna touch the pad, and he's barely touching it with his finger because the guy won't let him have it.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, they won't let that thing go. So I'm kind of curious to see how it's gonna.
Well, I want to throw one of the videos up here. Let's see if I can get this full screen.
There we go.
Welcome to Surface. Surface is yours. Your way of working, your way of playing, your way of connecting, creating,
I think this is a better video.
Sleek, light, durable, and beautiful. The Vapor Mag casing acts as a protective shield while providing a high quality.
Yeah, that is a better
finish.
commercial.
Yeah.
Surface
I think it's more practical.
Wherever you go.
Now, see, that's the feature I really like. You just flip around
back.
behind it, disables the keyboard, and it just
Integrated
becomes.
kickstands
They're
to
using
one
both
surface
versions
while
of
you
the
enjoy
tablets.
movies, music,
One of them is
games,
thinner
and
than the
more.
other one.
Click in
So they're using the Pro
and get
on
ready
one
to
of them.
produce the
Well,
next big
no.
thing.
I don't think they're
Touch
using the
cover is a
Pro.
super
I think if we go
touch-sensitive
back and
keyboard
look,
that acts
they're
as
actually
a protective
showing
cover.
one of the
For a classic keyboard
type covers.
experience,
That's the
check
type
out
cover
the
right there.
optional
Yeah, that one's nice.
So it actually has
Work the way
tactile
you're used to
response.
working with Windows RT,
And I'm
Office
still
RT,
debating
and
whether I want to.
keyboard
I
suits
like the
your work
colors.
style.
I would go with
Connect to HD displays,
the
transfer
touch
files
cover?
quickly, and add and remove media
No,
using
the other one,
micro SD.
the big one.
Share your passions
The
with
type cover
world.
you
The
want?
type cover.
It's a little bit
With
thicker.
two
Yeah,
video
it's a little
cameras.
thicker.
Well, see,
Reaching
that's
out
why
while
I
recording
want
is
to
simple and hands-free.
try out
Use
the
the front-facing
Surface
live cam and
RT.
Skype to
I just want to be
video
able to play with
The
it,
rear-facing
so I can see
IP
if
camera
I
is
can get
angled
used to
to
the
easily
touch
record every important
typing
moment. From
that doesn't
touch
have
to
tactile
type,
response.
Office to living room, from your screen
This
to
is
the
a better
big screen.
commercial.
I think it
They're
really,
actually
really
showing
hits.
people
Share
using it.
more
Yeah.
and do more with
Yeah.
Surface.
Now this is a good
Surface.
commercial.
Yeah, I like
Click
that
it
one much
and do
better.
more.
Now, let me get this.
We win.
skip here.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. I really think that does a much better job of showing it off. Now, in looking at that web page, the actual video that was just above the one that we were showing a minute ago, is more of a here's how we made this thing, and it's really cool for those who are interested in seeing the how it, how it was made, if you will, like that series on History or Discovery Channel or whatever it is. It's kind of neat. But what they do show, it was pretty cool, was how easy it is to attach because it's magnetic. The type or touch cover to the tablet. I mean, the guy is like seriously swinging it around. I'm like, that's a lot of G-forces swinging around, and it stayed attached.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I'm like, okay,
good.
Because I was a little concerned. They showed here's how easy it comes together, which is really attractive to me. I don't like the ones where you have to slide it into a little slot or snap it in. No, I like that magnetic attachment. That is that's a big plus for me, as far as just like snap and it goes into play. Mm-hmm. But I was thinking, how strong is it if you're flipping because it can, it's a 360 fold thing, so you can fold around behind it. I'm thinking, how strong is that? Would it want to would it torque and fall off? But this guy is like flipping the screen around and flipping the keyboard around. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I'm now feeling more comfortable about that particular feature.
I think it's going to be a very interesting to see how it does. Obviously, I know they're going to sell quite a few units of these things. So.
They have already sold out of. They sold out of the base model that doesn't have the cover with it. They sold out of that in 24 hours, and they just started selling out of the other two models. They had the next one up that has the cover for basically $100 more, and then the next version that was 32 gigabyte. The 64 gigabyte that has the touch cover on it is now selling out. So they're doing good sales. Not clearly not like the iPad did, but I think for something that nobody's gotten to really touch, having and featuring a new operating system, which really, for those who have said, "Oh, I need the desktop," and this is never going to fly because of that Metro screen, this is the version that, other than Office 2013 that comes on it, which runs on the desktop mode. The rest of it is totally the Metro interface, the start screen. It's all Metro apps. So for something that is going to pretty much lock you into the Metro side of the new ecosystem, for it to sell this quickly, that's got to make them feel a little bit better about the device, because I know everybody was like, don't know if people.
I also, because I follow the stock market and stuff like that. Of course,
pretty much stayed flat.
Microsoft, their figures for the quarter were not very good.
Well, you know why? Because they made that big purchase of whatever that stupid Q something.
Yeah,
and they had to write that off because it was a lot.
So what they're hoping is that their market share is going to go up with the release of the Windows 8. Yeah. So to be fair, I actually did some serious research since I haven't been doing very much except stay home sick, nothing to do.
Sit on the toilet.
Yeah, sit on the toilet with my iPad. And so a lot of manufacturers like Hewlett Packard, or should I say HP, Dell, and a lot of the other manufacturers are already going to release their computers now. They're coming pre-installed with Windows 8.
Yeah.
Dell is releasing one of the XPS laptops that has a reversible.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that has a reversible screen. So you flip it, and it's actually a touch, so it becomes a pad.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an iPad, or should I say a pad, but it's from Dell.
Right.
And also, they actually introducing their touchscreen full monitors now.
Well, Gateway, even at Walmart, is selling their all-in-ones that actually have.
Yeah, these are the all-in-ones.
It's like a 2-point touch. So the big thing is going to have the 5-point or even 10-point.
The Dell is trying to compete with Apple. They have an all-in-one 27-inch.
Oh, that is clearly clearly after the Mac.
Yeah, they're definitely going after Mac with that one, and it is a 10-point touch.
Speaking of Dell, I have their entry into this. So let's give this a play here.
There you go, Latitude.
Meet the tablet that's built for business, the Latitude 10 from Dell.
Can't get
the
any
Latitude 10
out of
easily and securely snaps you into your business environment. Manage the tablet the same as other PCs in your network. and protect your data with business-class security.
I like that.
Including optional
it's got a
Dell
nick
data
on it.
protection
Yes.
encryption, and optional fingerprint and smart card readers for
There,
dual
fingerprint reader. I
authentication.
told
I
you.
know, see?
Designed for the
They're going, this was going for the business.
10.1
This truly is going for the business.
HD multi-touch display. The Latitude 10 supports legacy applications so mobile professionals pick
Wow,
up.
legacy.
Okay, so this is the pro.
This is a full version.
The Pro. This is the Pro.
Dock enables seamless connectivity to a monitor, keyboard, and mouse while in the office. Powered by the Intel dual-core Atom processor, the Latitude 10 is designed for go-anywhere productivity.
That's a plus
Today's
right there.
mobile professionals stay up and running with a convenient swappable battery and micro USB charging port. Excellent wireless connectivity options include Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and optional mobile broadband for on-the-go collaboration.
Nice.
And stay face-to-face with an integrated mic and front and rear-facing cameras.
Wow.
Yep.
All of this in a light, thin, and business rugged design featuring a durable magnesium alloy frame and Corning Gorilla Glass. Business class control, go anywhere productivity, inspired design. The Latitude 10 tablet from Dell.
I see
Yeah.
that. You know, if the Surface doesn't work out for you, that might be a good alternative. There.
I'm telling you, there's definitely some pluses there. I wonder how much it's going to. Now, see, obviously they're going the route. You know, that was the Pro clearly because they were touting the legacy apps.
Yeah, it runs legacy.
But the fact that it is definitely focused for the business because they have the security options in there, and then they're saying, okay, guess what? We think there are enough people that would want the built-in cell capability to include that as
the
well.
broadband, yeah.
So that's definitely that's a pretty impressive. And I've not been very bullish on Dell for a number of years. The government, the Air Force, has purchased in the past a number of their when they do massive purchases of PCs for a refresh or laptops. I've not been overly excited over them. HP has actually created some better product, at least that the Air Force has purchased. But it seems like it's one generation Dell does it better, another generation HP does it better, and then Lenovo is right out there too. But you had posted on Facebook about the analysts, or some analysts are expecting that Windows 8 is not going to boost PC sales, and my response was, I think this video shows exactly what I was talking about. I don't think, other than for people like me who are doing the podcasting thing, and we need a behemoth desktop that we can pack all sorts of additional hardware to do all these cool stuff, or if you're doing big music studio workstation stuff, and if you're choosing not to go the Apple route, and you want to do like totally replace your analog soundboard and system with a totally digital setup, those are the people that are going to still use the desktops. But I think having the ability to have a tablet that has all the power that most people need, that easily docks either wired or wirelessly. I think Bluetooth and NFC is about to render the wired dock almost obsolete. Yeah. So I think what most people are going to find is that it's a cleaner, better area to have. If I've got my tablet, I can have it right there, and I can easily dock it to a keyboard and mouse and big screens, however I want to, and it's all done wirelessly. And I just set it on the device and it says, "Oh, here you are."
The article does go into a little bit more because I actually found another one, and I didn't tweet that one. The thing is that some people may be a little turned off about the Metro screen that Rob tends to talk a lot about, which are the live tiles.
Yeah.
But once you slide that puppy across, you're looking at your Windows 7 desktop. It's it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Where they're trying to capitalize on this because we've been going back and forth. And to be fair to Microsoft, I'm not going to bash it because I'm actually looking forward to seeing what it's going to offer.
Yeah.
I personally am not sold on the phone per se, but the PC is an entirely different thing for me. But these things are designed for the touch capabilities, and that's why you have a lot of the new manufacturers like Dell I mentioned are going to touch screens because that's how you're going to be able to utilize this. And of course the pads, the tablets, and that's where this is kicking off. Where I think these are going to excel hugely.
Yeah.
With the Surface is going to be perfect. It's sweet, and there you go. Now I didn't know about that one. Dell's coming out with their own. So I'm very anxious to see how this is going to work out.
I think ultimately the beauty of it is whether you're a Apple fan or Android fan or a Microsoft fan, what this means is we now have about to have a very rich technical landscape to play in, and that the competition of ideas is now really stepping up. For the longest time, Apple pretty much owned the mobile arena, and then here comes this upstart Google with Android, and now Android. Microsoft decides, you know what, we need to
get on.
We need to reintroduce ourselves to it because they had it for a while. And now with the tablets, and now we're seeing a transformation of the way that we access information. And I love the fact that as Troy and I were talking about last week, and we've talked about this too, is my ideal is being able to have a consistent access to my data wherever I'm at. And I know that for you, the phone aspect from the Microsoft end of it, you're not necessarily sold on it, and you're saying that it's a totally different thing with the tablet. I don't think it is, and that's definitely not where they want to be.
No, not the tablet. I meant the PC and the phone. It's going to work different. Well,
actually, Windows Phone 8 is going to be so much closer because they share a lot of core aspects now.
Yeah.
So for a developer standpoint, that's really where you get your best shot, is if you can get developers to get behind it, that is going to help you out. That's what really has elevated iPhone to the level that it is developers have been writing stuff and still writing stuff for it. If I, as a developer, find that I can write something for a huge market that already exists, that being the PC and now tablet, because they will be virtually indistinguishable as far as a source, because they'll be running the same operating system. It'll be the same Windows 8 that's on my desktop, that's on my laptop, that's on my tablet. And then with very little change of code, it works on a phone. As a developer, that's a big benefit for me, because even if I still view the Windows Phone market as very small, which it is, it's only about 3%, that's still a market. That 3% still represents millions of people that I could sell my app to. So, why would I shoot myself in the foot? If I can do very, very, within just a few minutes, make a few changes to an app that I wrote and have been selling all over the place for Windows PCs and tablets, and now open it up to another market, I think that that's going to be an additional attraction. So it'll be interesting. All that to say, we got an exciting Christmas season.
It's gonna be
coming up.
It's gonna be good. I agree with you when you said, we're going to have a lot more now to pick from.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very interesting. And I think at that point, people can actually finally decide, I like this, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Or, you know what, I've been using this for a long time.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned that you had a friend who had an Apple phone and bought a Windows phone and loves it. And I mean, you'll actually have stuff that you can, pick from.
Well, even better is that all of this has raised the level of competition for ideas. In other words, quite frankly, Apple kind of kept pretty plateaued in innovations they added a feature here and a feature there. But generally, if you look at the iPad or the iPhone throughout its generations, there's not been tremendous changes other than physical design. The interface is still the same, etc. But then here comes Android, and they've pushed the OEMs to allow certain things, and so that drove Apple to do some additional. All right, we really need to kind of get our R&D team stepping it up. And then here comes Microsoft saying, we don't have any chance at all if we just mimic what they're doing. We have to take the biggest gamble of our corporate lives and try to do something completely different and see if that. And so what that's done, whether people like it or not, there's certain features that clearly the latest versions of iOS and the latest iPhone said, yeah, I guess that's a good idea after all, and Android too. So I think what we're seeing now is everybody has stopped resting on their laurels. Everybody is now everybody's thinking, what's the next thing we can pump into this thing?
We're gonna have to do something now because it's like everything's up for grabs now. I mean, the competition's getting very interesting. Yeah. I like the way Microsoft is going, and this is exactly what you're talking about and mentioned just a little while ago. You want the same integration from your phone to your tablet to and you can just and that's the way the commercial.
And now the Xbox 360.
Yeah, you grab it, and if you're working on something on your desktop, you take off, and it's on your phone. Yeah. There's no what's the word I'm looking for?
It's seamless.
Yeah, it's seamless. Pretty much seamless. Like you said, well, maybe just a little bit of code here and there, but it's going to work the same.
Yeah.
That's where I don't really agree with Apple. I mean, they developed the iOS for their phone and the iPad and everything else, but then the apps and stuff that you have on that don't work on your Mac.
That's true now, but I have no doubt
they're going to change that.
They are going to change it. Now the question is, are they going to revamp iOS to be able to reach into the OS 10 world or OS 11, whatever it becomes? Or are they going to revamp, or are they going to expand the capability and scalability of iOS so that they can basically OS 10 will be iOS? That's the question.
And I don't know, and I think this is where I give props to Microsoft for coming up with that, up front.
You know what the frustration though is for those of us who are Windows Phone enthusiasts is the Windows Phone 7 was all still kerneled in the old WinCE. And so the reason why, and this has been a bit of a source of some consternation for Windows Phone enthusiasts, is what? We're not going to be, you've been letting us upgrade these devices since the beginning, but we're not going to be able to upgrade to Windows Phone 8? And the bottom line is because, as we're now finding out, Windows Phone 7 and Windows Phone 8 were being developed simultaneously, because they wanted to get something out there so that they could introduce people to the live tile concept. But where they really wanted to go was this new WinRT kernel that gets rid of the old WinCE and the old WinNT kernel, and goes to this new thing. And so now that's why the Windows Phone 8 is really a kindred spirit to what's about to be released. So I think Apple will probably have to do the same thing, because I think if they're not doing it, I just don't believe that they're not doing something like that.
I believe that maybe that would have been possible if Jobs was still here. I don't know what Tim is actually thinking. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. I don't want to start saying anything. I am looking forward to this coming holiday season.
No kidding.
I want to see the devices coming out. I am, of course, pro tech.
Yep, so
I do give Robert a hard time, and we joke about this all the time. Constantly. But you know what? It's just, I mean, we're great because we can agree to disagree sometimes, and, he loves Windows. I have actually tried the Windows Phone. I did it with the Titan. I did like it. Me personally, I'm not really sold on it. Yeah. From a perspective of my iPhone, the only really, I guess, investment that I've made is in the music, which I could, of course, with a little tech know-how, I can actually revert that into, into Zune if I needed to. I mean, I could figure something out. But
well, wait. On the music point, how is your music? What format is it all stored in?
It's on a weird format.
Is it that was it ASF or what is it? Apple.
It's a weird format.
I thought I could, because I do have iTunes on here, because I did have an iPod Nano for a while. I thought you can store it as just regular MP3s.
I can convert it into an MP4.
Okay. Same diff, because I mean Windows Phone can do those. And
I'm sorry.
And it's now not Zune. It's now Xbox Music.
Xbox Music, yeah. And so, I mean, I really could if I needed to, but that's the only investment that I made. The apps, I normally keep the free ones. Yeah. The games and stuff like that. I don't really.
Well, that's the big thing. Is not all the games are on all platforms. A good chunk of the most popular apps are. There's still some that like. Tara's big on the Weight Watchers tracker, and I've sent emails to Weight Watchers saying, "Well, why?" I mean, it's
only on Android.
I know.
And,
I'm like, come on now.
iPhone.
You got a lot of people that like Weight Watchers, and she loves it, and she's doing really good for her. So I mean, and you can access their website, but sadly, and this is the other thing. Not to get totally sidetracked.
They even have it on BlackBerry.
Well, I don't know. Do they? But here's the thing. Why is their mobile website not a mobile website? I in this day and age, I don't understand why some of these companies that are very, very big and very popular, why they haven't come up with a mobile version of their website.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, really, that is where we're trying to push. That's where everybody's trying to push everybody is the cloud. So why not make your web interface perfectly scalable and adaptable to whatever mechanism?
Devices,
because that's going to be the thing. The laptop, the tablet, the phone, the desktop are being reduced to an appliance. They are simply a device that accesses your data that is elsewhere. So why not make sure that wherever you're sourcing the data, the information, the screens, recognize what device you're using and feed it to you properly formatted for that device. You could actually reduce the need for a lot of apps simply by designing really very well-written websites. I think that's just they're missing the boat there.
And it's going back to, like you said, becoming an appliance. The new iPad, you'll be able to put it down, put a cup of coffee in there, and it'll keep it warm for you.
Evidently that was true.
Put a popcorn.
That was true with one of the iPhones. I think that it was like exploding or something. I was what?
put a candle. You can't have a lit candle on your desk because it's
no
fire code. You just put a candle on there, and it'll heat it up for you.
Tara loves those Scentsy deals. It's basically just like a aromatic wax.
Yeah.
You just put it in, it warms it up,
it heats it up, and it smells.
Well,
we're there. We're there, guys. We're there. What can I say?
So okay, on to the last thing we're talking about. I went out and pulled off a quick dive today because I wanted to check the temperature of the water because I may have a student if I ever get a response back. I was like, okay, well, I want to make sure I can give.
Is there still water?
Let me show you.
Uh-oh.
I went out first. I thought I was going to do the dive out at the old 277 ridge. Okay, this is looking up from, there's my car on the left, the tail end of my Mustang. If you look up at the top there, that's on the left, that's the little gazebo or picnic area.
Yeah.
And then to the right is the little bathroom. Where I'm parked and standing, the last time we were out there, we were underwater.
Wow.
Yeah. It was crazy. And this is the bridge. Again, all of this was underwater. Matter of fact, by the time we got to the bridge, we'd be about 10 feet underwater. And so literally you can see it, you can kind of hop, skip, and jump across the segments of the bridge, the old bridge, all the way over. It's just dramatic. Tons of ducks out there. They're all migrating. I mean, everywhere I turned, ducks. I mean, I was ready to break into one of the skits from one of my little bits from Greater Tuna.
Greater Tuna.
It's not easy being a duck. And people say duck. You don't know whether they're talking about a bird to avoid an accident. So I mean, it was just, and it just drops right off there. I mean, it was remarkable. I'm like, all of it. I never knew this existed. Yeah. I've never seen this above water before. I mean, we'd be swimming underneath all this.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Here's another closer shot in the water. All these ducks that were out there. And, of course, garbage and lots of the hydrilla that's growing. Here's another shot standing right on the edge of that little round piece. I mean, this was just remarkable. Standing on the bridge. I was walking out. Normally we'd know, okay, we're getting ready to come to the drop-off, and then we'd, swim right off the edge of this. So this is kind of looking to the east off that edge. We'd normally be swimming along here and then just dropping off. Just remarkable. Look at all the... how shallow it is. All these trees and everything. And then this is looking back up.
So
it's just this remark. And I look at all these tires, these huge. I mean, these are big, like Caterpillar tires that are off to the side here. I don't know if those were always there or if we just never, or if they just added those for some reason. I mean, these are big old tires over there. This is Scuba Cove. Look at the buoy off to the left there of our the small boat. 19 feet of water.
The small boat is in 19 feet.
19 feet of water. You can't really see it here, but our little marker buoy for the big boat is there. And it's only in 40 feet of water.
Oh, my God.
Would you like to take a guess at where the dive chest is?
It's out of water, probably.
It's right underneath the catwalk.
Man, that was at 30 feet.
That was at 30 feet. It is now right underneath that metal catwalk that takes you out to the dock.
That's perfect right there because that tells me the lake is down 30 feet.
Yep. I mean, I'm just like, I'm walking down there and you see it's just a long old trek. As a matter of fact, look, you can barely see up here. That's the first buoy that marks off the you can't be in here with a powered boat. And the actual point goes out further than that. So I'm walking down here fully loaded up with the gear, and I'm looking, I'm stepping onto the metal catwalk, and I look down, and right smack dab in the middle underneath it is the dive chest. I'm like, no flipping way.
God, that looks horrible.
It is remarkable.
I thought they weren't going to let any more water out.
I did too, but I mean, they have to let some out because if they just let it, but I thought it was supposed to equal the inflow. But yeah, this is just depressing. And the visibility was horrible. Of course, it was windy. It's been windy the last couple of days, so visibility was about 8 feet. But I mean, because the small boat is so shallow now, there's so much hydrilla you cannot see the back end of it where the buoy is actually attached to. It's all covered. Wow. You come up on the bow, which is lower. It's in about 24 feet of water, but it's just getting all covered. That whole area, you just can't. It's not easy to swim. That's why I was saying earlier in the podcast. I was kind of halfway expecting, because you see what time of day it's at as the sun is starting to go down. I was halfway expecting to run into an alligator gar as the water gets shallower. Yeah, I was thinking I might run into something. So, yeah, that was kind of depressing. So, I don't know that I would necessarily be able to hold a class if the lake stays like this. If we don't get some serious rain upstream and right on the lake to start bringing the levels up, next year maybe we'll be able to dive, obviously, but I don't know if I'll be able to hold classes. We'll have to see.
You may have to actually I guess dive the lake and see where you'd be able to conduct
attach the buoys and stuff like that. Yeah, that's the problem. Being able to attach the dive lines for doing some of the training. So I was really...
I'm crying right now.
I'm like, so, yeah, it's not good. Water temperatures, 74 degrees. Okay. I was wearing my 5 mil full. Very glad that I was wearing the 5 mil full because that's about what I end up wearing most of the time at Balmarais. So obviously going deeper, I think I went down to about 69 feet on this dive. So I was definitely glad to have the 5 mil on. But so it's still comfortable water. You know, I didn't feel like I needed the gloves or the hood or anything. So at least until we get some more really, really chilly weather, the lake is going to, I think for the next few weeks, or probably at least 3 weeks, it's probably going to be comfortable to dive in. So, all right, well, let's hit our tips, training, and tech. We just had the dive club meeting. It was attended by just a couple of people. It's always tougher as we go into the off season for participation, but
I actually wanted to go because I saw when you posted, and I really was not in the mood to go anywhere except home to rest. So.
Yep, when you're under the weather, it's not good. And we're about to finish up Fiesta de Amistad, so if you're in the Del Rio area and you like to check out crafty people,
yes,
there'll be crafty people, including my wife. Tara will be out there with some of her friends, and they're selling some great stuff. There's a lot of stuff out there.
Funnel cakes.
Oh, yes. And she confessed that she blew her points for the day on the funnel cakes. I guess there's like 23 or 25 points for a funnel cake. I was like, isn't that like your daily allowance?
That's the weekly allowance right there.
Blow it on one thing.
That's just a sugar.
It is. It's just dough and sugar. Yeah. But, you know, that's like one of those things, if you're at a place that sells those, you kind of have to have something like that. But the way they make them, they're so big, you probably just buy one for a whole group and just start tearing off pieces.
Well, Sandy and I, when we go get one, that's usually what we do. We'll buy one and we'll share it between the 4 of us, you know. I'll eat a little bit because there's only so much of it you can take.
Oh, yeah, because it's so rich.
Yeah, and then Sandy will eat a little bit.
It's like eating pancakes, you know.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Aiden and Brandon, they'll nibble at little chunks here.
Really, they don't wolf it down?
Well, you see, that's the thing. It's in moderation. I don't let them. I mean, if they could take one down each. You know, each of them could take one down.
Yeah.
And that much sugar for, a 10 and a 4-year-old is just not good, you know. It's not good for their.
No kidding.
It'll hype them up, and also it's bad for their teeth. You know. We
Yep.
don't try doing that.
Right, you are, my friend. And so we have DEMA, the Dive Equipment Manufacturers Association show for 2012. I got a dog whining to come up.
November
14th through 17th in Las Vegas. Check it out. You know you want to go, right?
You know you want to.
That's right. And then we've got our 2013 Balmorhea State Park dive trips scheduled for 17 through 19 May, 14 through 16 June, 19 through 21 July, and 16 through 18 August. So we'll be celebrating again our anniversary on...
Whoa!
I got a dog escaping and trying to run off with my headphones.
Robert's head almost hit the keyboard.
Oh, the excitement. And we have to have, of course, the guest appearance by Gianna. There we go. Oh, yes.
Yes.
I tell you, what would it be? I mean, hey, if Leo Laporte can bring his dog on the set on occasion. I mean, look at this face.
Look at that.
Is that not just the most adorable? Looks like a Scott Terrier almost.
Yep.
Hi there, laddie. I'm going to give you a kiss right here. Oh, boy.
There you go.
That's my baby, Gianna. Named after what?
Oh, God.
I know you got to know.
Oh.
Because you're a sci-fi kind of guy.
I know it's from one of those...
Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah. It's, what was it? Firefly or one of those?
No. Starts with F. Had Claudia Black.
Wasn't that Firefly?
No.
It starts with an F?
Yes.
Oh, God. Thinking right now is like brain surgery.
Farscape.
There you go, Farscape.
Yes, Farscape.
Yeah, which is available on Netflix.
Is it really?
It is.
I need to... We bought them because they had a couple of movies that came out after the series got canceled. Just to kind of wrap some things up. I loved that series. It started off really rough, but it really got good. And, it was the whole chemistry between Ben, whatever his name is, that played Crichton, John Crichton, and then Claudia Black from who later became a regular on Stargate SG-1.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, she got teamed back up with him on that because he took over the crew after was it Richard
MacGyver left?
MacGyver left. So
Richard Dean Anderson, was it?
Was it
oh,
his
no,
name?
it was Dean Anderson. I know, something like that.
I
it wasn't
know.
Richard, though.
Oh, something.
Anyway, MacGyver.
Yeah, MacGyver. So, all right, well, we're, an hour and a half. And I was thinking this was going to be a very fast show because I didn't have a lot in the show notes, but we get so, that's the neat thing. We can just talk about stuff and just go.
Yeah. I wish Troy was here. I wish Troy was here.
So you could pick on him.
No. Well, maybe a little on coffee.
Well, you would have felt, you might have felt ganged up on, though.
I would have been like, calm down.
You're right in between us, too.
Yeah,
That'd
like,
be bad.
Last time you guys
double team you.
Double team you with the phone, and two of them don't make
Windows
one.
Phone and stereo. Yeah.
No, but, all joking aside, I'm really looking forward to this,
so
the releases of all this, all these things. I will be updating one of my laptops, and I'm pro Dell, and the reason is because, I own stock in it. So
Didn't you work for them for a while?
Yes, I did for 2.5 years. That's why I had the stock options.
Oh, okay. There you go.
What it was is every quarter when you work for these kind of companies, AMD and Intel have the same thing going on. When you work for them, you actually get into the stock thing, and they give you so much stock when you first start working.
Right.
And then, of course,
because they don't want to pay you.
Well, they're paying you, and the pay was very substantial. I got to admit, probably the most I've made ever. And the thing is, when every quarter you're allowed to purchase stock, and what they do is they take certain percentage of your check, and you can adjust it how you'd like, and they save it aside.
Stock options.
To purchase the stock options.
Right.
Well, when I left working Dell, I had acquired a substantial amount of stock. So when I left working Dell, what I did with the E-Trade account, it just kind of like whatever dividend or whatever revenue they were just buying stock at whatever. Yeah. And sometimes the stock is high, so I don't get that many stocks or that many shares. And then, of course, sometimes when it's low, I can buy a lot of it.
More, yeah.
So it's just been snowballing and this was back in 2001, 2002, around there. So it's been going, and I wasn't sure how much was in there, but it's quite a bit.
Good.
So awesome. I've left it there, and by Dell.
Like I said, they've kind of gone back and forth, and so that tablet looks pretty
I have
impressive.
not seen that. I'm gonna have to go back and check it out.
I just checked that out yesterday, and I was like, I got to throw this on the podcast because it really looks interesting.
But no, I'm actually looking forward to it, and I do have a Dell laptop that I'm using. It's a Studio. Yeah. And it's running Windows 7. Yeah. It came pre-installed, so I will be updating that one to the new Windows 8.
For $39, you can always go back if you need to, but I mean, golly.
I don't think I'm going to go back. I think I'm just going to stick with it and use it. I was reading something on before coming down here on what was that website? And they're following the progress of Windows and how they've released the Windows.
Right.
And they've had some, kind of the way they did it was like, okay, Windows 95 was a thumbs down. Windows 98 was a thumbs up. Windows ME was a thumbs down. Windows XP was a thumbs up. Windows Vista was a thumbs down. Windows 7 is a thumbs up. So they've kind of been going up and down with every release. So they're anticipating that if Microsoft stays true to their track record, that Windows 8 may be a thumbs down. I am not going to be that skeptical. I'm going to try it myself, and I will judge for myself by using it.
Well, the big thing for me was it needed to be able to run all the stuff that I currently depend on.
Correct.
I've got the studio here. The only thing that I haven't gotten the firm thumbs up from the developers are the XSplit software,
which runs the podcast.
So I'll be backing everything up, and I'll be probably doing test runs of stuff to make sure because it does have the the legacy the desktop. Everything else that I've run that is older has worked very well on Windows 8 so far. So I don't see any reason why it would do anything. The exploit would do anything different, and because Windows 8 requires less system resources, I'm hoping that I'll actually be able to bump up the go to a little bit higher resolution with the podcast with Windows 8, but we won't know until we get it.
I'm also was checking out that the new Windows 8 also will work with older machines that don't have the processing power.
Right.
So I have I'm actually going to test it on. I have a little laptop mini, HP mini laptop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a small
How old
one.
is it?
It's actually not that old. It's got Windows 7 Starter on it, which I don't like.
I didn't know about the Windows 7 Starter.
The Windows 7 Starter is a very generic version of Windows 7 because you cannot change the wallpaper. You can't do anything to it.
Wow.
Yes, and it's running the Atom processor, the Intel Atom processor. It's got 2 gigs of RAM on it, and it's got a 200 gig hard drive. So since and I just saw right now that Dell tablet is running the Atom processor.
Right.
I think I'm going to check it, and if it can, I'm going to upgrade that because I don't like the starter. I might as well get the full version.
Right.
So,
and you'll have a lot more customizability you can do with it.
I can't even change the background.
Oh, then that's
I
just
can't do
wrong.
themes. I
How
can't
much
do
memory is on that?
It's got 2 gigs.
Oh, it should run fine.
2 gigs of RAM. 2 gigs of RAM, and it's got a 200 gig hard drive. So, and it's got a 1.9 gigahertz
Atom
processor.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it should support it.
You'll have to you have to bring that in. I want to see if you
took
could
it out. I just took it out of the car. Now I would have brought it. I'll bring it next week so we can show it off.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Because next week,
when does the release come out?
26th, midnight on the 25th. So that's Friday.
Well, there you go. Then I'll update it and I'll bring it in.
There we go. Nice.
Also, just to let y'all know, I may be out a couple of days because I am going actually on a retreat. I'm going on one of those religious retreats.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So Sandy's going next week. So I will have to touch base with you whether or not I'm going to be able to be here.
Okay.
Because I think I may have to make an appearance at the retreat.
Right.
But if not, I will bring you the laptop so that you can show it off.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. And also, I will be attending a retreat on November. Let's see. November the. No. Wait. What are we?
What? Who am I?
Wait.
Where am I here?
Oh my God.
Who am I?
Oh no. My phone's gone crazy. It's Apple.
I don't believe that.
No.
Hey. This is my microphone. Grazes just
okay. I will be going on a retreat on the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th. I return, so on the 10th, I will not be here.
Oh.
Yes, on November.
Yikes. Okay.
So.
All right.
You know,
we'll get Troy or somebody to step in.
I will be over there at a man's retreat.
Well, that's cool.
So
that's
I'm
awesome.
actually kind of looking forward to that. So
our church, actually, the guys were doing a little sort of a retreat. It's more like a camping thing.
And that's what I've been told.
Yeah. Just doing the one this weekend, which of course I couldn't because the podcast, obviously, and because of the Abrazo, and then tomorrow. At least part of Living Water Sound, just me and the leader of the group, Rich Morneau, will actually be playing at from 11:45 to 1 o'clock at Greenwood Park where the craft fair is at.
Awesome.
So we'll be there doing our thing.
But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. It was Sandy's going to one this next weekend,
right?
So there's some things that I have to be a part of to make it kind of more meaningful.
Right.
And then I was actually selected to go on the one, which
nice.
was, pretty interesting. Apparently there were 35, because they do it kind of like a lottery type thing.
Oh, really?
There's so many people that want to go to them.
Oh, that's good, though.
There was 35 or 36 men that signed up for the retreat, and they only selected 24. I was one of the 24. So
nice.
Mm-hmm.
So the 10th,
the
you
10th
will be gone.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But yeah. So anyhow, but we'll definitely try it, and I'll bring in that little mini. Yeah, you need to try. You need to check it out.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see it running Windows 8. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting little machine.
Well, at that size, it'll be almost like having a tablet without the touch.
Yeah, exactly, and that's all it's gonna need. It's got a full keyboard and everything, so it's pretty interesting.
Nice. All right, well, that pretty much does it for this week. I think we've exhausted everything and everybody.
Yeah. See, I was gone, and sometimes it's good. We have a lot to talk about.
Catch up. Well, hopefully you will be able to make it for next week, but if not, we'll play it by ear.
Yeah, I should let you know sometime the middle of the week, but okay. I am planning on being here. If not, I will definitely be here in spirit with you all.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank you all as always for watching the podcast, either live or on YouTube. You can always check us out on our webpage, DelRioDiveClub.com, or Facebook/Del Rio Dive Club. Or you can catch us on Twitter and just Facebook or our own individual pages. You can always ask us any questions. We love for you to jump in on chat rooms to join us on the podcast.
Please.
You know, it makes things interesting when we can field questions or comments from viewers, and we appreciate that. But that pretty much finishes it all up. So until next time, this is Rob Wade.
I am Robert Garza.
And we will see you next week on another episode of Two Guys Who Dive.
Good night.